So I would like to quickly thank everybody for coming. And Logan does have a speech prepared. So if everybody can welcome Logan. Logan is actually a 2-time brain cancer survivor.
Hello, my name is Logan. I am a cancer survivor. I beat brain cancer 2 times. My journey was tough, but I was tough. I'm tough. Angel Works and Friends of Faith Prudent Foundation helped our family through everything. I struggle with side effects from treatment that saved my life. Nights like this helped raise awareness to end childhood cancer so other kids don't struggle. Thank you so much. Oh, I wasn't done. For the support. Want to hear a joke? What is a cow's favorite animal? A moose. Womp womp.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you so much, Logan. Logan shared with me that he was really nervous, so I think he did an amazing job. And next up, we have Aria.
I feel like I've been outshined already. I don't know if I can do better than that. Good afternoon, everyone, or I guess evening. My name is Aria Tarantine, and I am a pediatric cancer survivor. Around 6 years ago now, I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma of the skull at 10 years old. I went through about 10 months of chemotherapy and 6 weeks of radiation in total, including several surgeries like a biopsy. I had a craniotomy, which is basically your head is split open. And it was rough. My journey was rough. Anyway, I'm not really here to talk about myself because thankfully I am a survivor. I have been in remission for 5+ years now. The point I'm making here today is I am one of the lucky ones. I'm a 16-year-old junior in high school who just came back from color guard practice. I'm in all honors and AP classes. I do extracurriculars, I do choir, I do all of these things. But I am one of the lucky few. Most of the children diagnosed with pediatric cancer will not survive. 1 in 5 diagnosed with pediatric cancer will in fact not survive. The importance of awareness is unfathomable. Despite me being a survivor, I still deal with issues and long-term side effects. I have a stage 2 heart disease, my creatinine levels never go down, and my kidneys are kind of iffy. But in spite of all this, again, I am considered incredibly lucky. It's true that I was able to get through this crappy, sad, infuriating, painful, crappy disease and come out the other side mostly unscathed, but this is not the case for everyone. In fact, 95% of pediatric cancer survivors will develop a long-term side effect. Many patients, even some of my friends, have relapsed 2 or 3 more times before sadly passing away. Outdated treatments and lack of knowledge on the subject of pediatric cancer harms and hurts and diminishes how much cancer really hurts the patients and parents, not just while the treatment is happening, but through and after those 5 years of remission. I say all this because pediatric kids deserve better. They deserve more. They deserve to feel normal, like I kind of do. They deserve to participate in sports. They deserve to go to class and take tests and be disappointed and have school friends. And they deserve to be able to proudly say, like me, that they survived. That possibility is what I and we are fighting for. That is what we are raising awareness for today, and that is why we are trying to fund new treatments and get more money and more awareness to increase the amount of funding for pediatric cancers. I'll leave you with a few facts. Only 4% of the National Cancer Institute's $4.8 billion cancer research budget went to cover all 12 types of pediatric cancer. Childhood cancer survival rates have not improved over the last 2 decades. In fact, childhood cancer has increased 24% over the past 40 years. 2 out of 3 of kids that do survive face at least one chronic health condition. Over half of pediatric families will file for bankruptcy because of the costs fighting the disease. The average high school has 2 students who are current or former cancer patients. And finally, in the last 6 years, 77 new cancer drugs have been developed for adults. And in the last 77 years, only 3 new drugs have been developed for children, purely because of the complication and trial and error doctors that are underfunded have to go through. These doctors need their resources and they need their money to be able to safely perform these trials. It is of utmost importance that these kids get more, because without that funding, the doctors won't be able to do anything. They can't create the new drugs, they can't help the children. They're forced to say, here, have some cancer chemotherapy that was developed in the 70s. That's all we have for you. And it is purely because they do not have the resources and they do not have enough money. So, in essence, pediatric cancer kids deserve more. And I'm happy to be here raising awareness. If I taught you something that you didn't know about pediatric cancer, then that's awesome. But I really just want you all to realize that no matter who is speaking, Logan or me or a kid that's currently in the hospital, we all deserve the same thing, and that is survival. Thank you.
I absolutely love whenever Aria can come and speak. She is positively my hero, and she is who I strive to be like. So if everybody can just give her another round of applause. I know that it has to be hard for her to get up and be that open and raw. And next, we have Owen.
I want to say thank you guys all for coming out tonight. These certainly aren't the most upbeat and fun events, but they're very, very important. My brother, Aiden Welling, was diagnosed when he was 4 years old. Thank you, Mom. And that would have been in about 2010. He fought for 3 years before passing away in 2016. It's just an absolute tragedy what so many of these kids have to go through. Like Aria was just saying, the drugs they're using on these kids were made when the parents of the kids were born, most of them, and that's hilarious and not good, but it's, excuse me, I'm tripping over myself. I'm kind of here to advocate for the families and everything. It's absolutely so hard on these kids, and I can't speak to anything on that. I have no idea how hard it is on the kids, but I can firmly say that it is so tough on the families as well. It's not just the kids in the fight, it's the parents all the way through, and it's these organizations that are so helpful in getting everyone through it. And that's why I want to thank Ellie and Angel Works for all they kind of did. The first kind of thing Ellie did for my family is my brother was never able to have a birthday party. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it was huge. He was, I think, 8 years old, turning 8 years old, and Ellie threw a huge party at this big laser tag place. My brother loves Star Wars more than anything in the world, So there were a bunch of like reenactors and people dressed up in costumes, and we got to play laser tag with Darth Vader, and that was awesome. But that's, well, there's so many of these amazing little stories and little moments. It's just, that's so little compared to everything these kids have to deal with in the hospital, and it's so hard on these families. My brother Aiden and every kid here, every kid nationwide deserves more funding. I know Ellie said it not too long ago, but I could get cancer tomorrow, and I would still say I would take less, so that the kids could have more, because is it 3% or it's 4% of all nationwide funds for cancer go to pediatrics, and there's 12 main types and probably a few thousand subclasses between those, and it's not enough for any of them. The side effects these kids have to deal with going through life and the side effects through everything else, it's not enough for these kids. The long-term health effects are a travesty, and it's just not, it's not okay. It's a huge deal for me just to be here and have City Hall be lit up in gold for everyone to see, just for people to know, because I don't think people truly realize how many kids get cancer. I think it was 512 per year. 552, even more, per year in just the state of Ohio get diagnosed. And that's one state out of 50 in just one country in the world. This is such a larger epidemic than so many people think of, and it's the most important step, and the first step for us is to get people to realize that this is the issue that it is. So many people think that this is just kind of a 1 in a million, nobody really, it doesn't affect as many kids as it, but it so much does. And I think that this is such a big step, just trying to get the word out to people. See if just 4 people tonight can walk past, see the gold, and Google what it means would be just such a big first step. And that's what I think we're really trying to do tonight. So thank you guys all for coming out. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you.
Aiden really, truly was the most amazing little boy. And actually the picture, Aiden's mama is here tonight too, by the way. And the picture that's in front of the podium is a photo. One of AngelWorks programs, we do family portraits. And Kara brought her family out and they did family portraits, but just have a photo of Aiden in it because he had already passed. So we have several families here tonight that have kids that have passed. And the only way they can get family photos now is to have the remaining family members and bring a photo of their child that passed, all because we failed them by not being able to do a better job to get more funding and to give them a better chance. So that isn't even my speech. I just, after Owen finished, I got a little sidetracked there. But so thank you all so much for taking time out of your life to come tonight. I know everybody has busy lives, so anytime that you're able to take a little time to come just to support our cause, it's appreciated by all of us. It's appreciated by everybody here. I know that having a building light gold for many people may seem silly and trivial. Looking back, there was a point in my life not too many years ago, before I met kids like Logan and Aria and Aiden and Owen, and I would have thought the same thing. As a matter of fact, the first time that AngelWorks had a building light gold in Columbus, it was the AEP building. And I just happened to be able to time the AEP building lighting gold on the same night that our dinner party was at COSI. And I had met an amazing young girl a few weeks before a dinner party. Her name is Alexa. And she had asked me if she could speak at the dinner party. It was actually the first time that I had ever let a child speak. I don't know why, but I had never thought about allowing kids to try to talk about childhood cancer in their own words, and that's really what we need, right? I had scheduled Alexa to speak before the sky band lit gold. However, that night, we were running a little late. I know that's shocking to anybody here that knows me, that what I was doing was running a little bit late. So before Alexa spoke, we all walked outside of COSI, watched the sky band light gold, and we released gold balloons. I also know balloons are bad. We don't do that anymore. Then we went back into the ballroom, and it was Alexa's turn to speak. She got up at the podium and she started reading a very, very well-written and well-rehearsed speech. And then she stopped. She was very quiet, and I was thinking she had lost her place. But then she completely broke down crying. And it wasn't just like a little crying. It was complete sobbing, crocodile tears, snotty nose, can't catch your breath, that kind of crying. I didn't know what to do, so I ran up to the podium, and I had told her that she didn't have to continue. I thought it was just too hard for her to talk about what she was going through. She was still in treatment. And when you're a teenager, I think she was 13 at the time, and when you're a teenager, that's a hard thing, right? To be very open and expose everything like that. So that's why I thought she was crying. But when I told her she didn't have to go on, she was completely adamant that she was going to finish talking. So I took a little break, got her a napkin, let her wipe her face, gather her thoughts, and then we continued. She went completely off script from a speech that she had worked really hard on to let us know that the reason that she was crying so hard was because in all of the time that she had been fighting cancer, she had never, ever seen anything gold. She had never seen a building lit gold. She had never seen gold shirts in Walmart. She had never seen gold wiper blades in a gas station or gold trash cans on the side of the road. But everywhere she looked, every month out of the year, she saw all of the adult colors splashed everywhere. And then she shared that because she always saw all of the adult cancer awareness and everybody was talking about it, and football players were wearing pink, and every athlete that was popular was supporting breast cancer or other adult cancers. And she thought because of that, and because she had never seen anything that was promoting her cancer and supporting children like her, she actually believed in her mind that equated that grown-up cancers were more important than childhood cancers. And much more heartbreaking was that she shared that she believed very much that that meant that grown-ups believed that their lives were more important than hers. So she was completely overcome by just seeing a building light gold, and that's what had made her break down. And she shared that with us that night. It had never, ever occurred to me that that's how these kids feel. And I've learned since then that while Alexa was the first one that opened my eyes to that, there are a lot of kids that feel that way. They realize that they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, and they don't feel important because they just don't see people supporting their type of cancer. I always tell everyone that I meet, that these kids that I am lucky enough to get to meet, they're the ones that drive me. They make me want to be better. They make me want to do better. And they're what gives me the energy and the courage to keep going, even when I think I can't and I'm discouraged. Alexa's doing very well now, by the way. She is several years out of treatment, and she's all grown up. I don't think that I ever told her. I actually know that I never told her, and I talked to her a lot. She moved out of the state, and she would call me sometimes from math class when she was bored. I don't know how she got away with it, but she did. But I never ever shared with her, and I probably should, that watching her that day and hearing the words that she said is a very big part of what drove me to want to start to raise awareness in the first place. How awful is it for even one child to ever think that their life is less important than mine or any other adults? We certainly aren't where we need to be yet with childhood cancer research and childhood cancer awareness. Most people still don't know that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. They don't know that gold is the awareness color, but we are making progress. I recently read a study that stated that childhood cancers would now share 8% of our government cancer research funding, instead of only the current 4% that it has been receiving. I haven't confirmed it, and I'm not positive that it's true, but I certainly hope that it is. And 8% still isn't even a drop in the bucket to what we need, but it's at least moving in the right direction, and that's hopeful. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that I said tonight is that our words are powerful. Alexa's words were powerful enough to drive me out of my comfort zone and push me to try to make a difference. Aria's words are powerful enough and touch people and plant a seed every time she speaks. Logan's words are always powerful enough to make people smile every time. And Owen's words are powerful enough to make some of you cry. I read a Facebook post today that said, at the end of the day, and it was from a cancer mom, by the way, it said, at the end of the day, all you need is hope and strength. Hope that it will get better, and strength to hold on until it does. I have all the hope in the world that kids like Logan and Aria and Owen will continue to use their words to make things better in the future for kids with cancer. Lastly, I just want to share something that someone recently told me when I was at the State House. I had shared that I was very discouraged with working and lobbying for better funding. And he said, you know the saying, history is written by the victors. Well, victory is created by the persistent. And he reminded me that no matter what, I couldn't give up because there were too many kids depending on it. So my promise tonight to Logan and Aria and Owen and every other child that I have met and ever will meet, and I am sure that Mary shares this with me, I will be persistent. I will stand alongside all of you and do whatever I can to help create change for kids with cancer in the future. And I will continue to do what I can to create more funding and an equal playing field for them and push to make children a priority, not just in Ohio, but in our entire country. Again, thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate it. It's very exciting for us to get to see the building go gold. We need to thank City Hall and the workers here for making this happen. And Mary with Friends of Faith Prudent Foundation is here as well. She was the one that got the ball rolling on this. And so we need a thank you to her as well. And And we are going to do a countdown. Can all the kids come on up? We're going to do it right now. You too, Rowan. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, we're going to start at 10. Will everybody count down with me? Ready? Can you guys count down with me too? Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, wonderful. Thank you all so much again. And